Hello, everyone. Before we start with the official part, I think we're a nice group. It would be nice to get to know each other a little bit. I see we have Austria represented and New Zealand. That's amazing. Cologne. And yeah, would you like to maybe start a small introduction round? My name is Kamand. Together with Jamil, we will be moderating tonight. And I'm a global shaper from, well, I used to be in Düsseldorf. Now I'm located in Freiburg. And I'm also the project lead of Women Leading Forward. So maybe we'll continue with Anna to introduce yourself and yeah, just so we can get to know each other.
Hi, everyone. Greetings from Düsseldorf. So we're very glad to see everyone on this event, and we are very excited about our speakers, and we are very excited about the discussions which we will have. I'm also a member of the Global Shapers and this project, Women Leading Forward, from last year, and we prepared a lot of interesting discussions for you, and we're looking forward to meeting you guys. So maybe our next project member, Bushra, can you also talk a little bit about yourself?
Thank you, Anna. Welcome everyone to our today's sessions. I'm Bushra Baizat and I'm from Cologne, which is very close to Düsseldorf, and I'm from a new shaper from July, and I'm also part of the Women Leading Forward team, and I'm really looking forward to gain more insights about women and female leadership. So I think that it will be very interesting to hear more insights from Mavis and Ellis too. So it will be very interesting, and keep yourself updated on the following events, and I will give the word to you, Jamil.
Yeah, thank you, Bushra. First of all, we have an amazing topic today. Today, I'm going to moderate the sessions with our two speakers. And thank you so much for investing your time with us on this Thursday evening or morning, depending on which time zone you're in. I'm a global shaper as well, a proud one. Today, being in this project and these, you could say, 4 events that are coming up on a really important topic, kickstarts, I think, a really good conversation that we want to have with you and the community. And if I'm not wrong, who's the next? We have everyone. How's the plan, Kamand?
I mean, it would be nice to just say maybe just 2 words, or just a very quick introduction, just so we know, who's joining from where, and if you're a global shaper as well, and just a short hello round, let's say.
Hi everyone. Sorry, I don't have my camera on because it's 5 o'clock in the morning in New Zealand, so forgive me for that. But I really wanted to dial in for this call. I'm the curator of the Auckland Hub, and this is definitely a topic that I'm very interested in, and it's just lovely to connect with you all today. Really looking forward to it.
Well, I'm going to continue then. Hello, everyone. Glad to meet you tonight or in the morning, however it is at your place. My name is Georg. You can call me George, however you prefer. And I'm dialing in today from Austria, Klagenfurt, which is a rather small city compared to Auckland or Berlin or Cologne. I stumbled across the Global Shapers project on social media, basically, and this topic is quite interesting to me as I'm a management student myself, and ever so prominent this topic is, as female leadership definitely needs to be discussed, and I'm looking forward to having this discussion today with all of you.
Thank you, Georg. Cleo?
Hi, yeah, sorry, I don't have my camera on either, but the wonderful Annabelle told me about this event. I'm also really interested in women in leadership. I'm not currently a global shaper, but I'm interested in learning more about what you guys do. So I thought it would be awesome to come along. So it's also really early in the morning. That's how much I love women in leadership that I got up at 5 o'clock for this.
Wow, that's amazing. That's very impressive. Yeah, I will definitely tell a little more about the Shapers community and the project itself. Yeah, Elisanne, would you like to say a few words?
Yeah, hello everyone, Elisanne here. I'm talking from Bonn. I used to be a Global Shapers in the Palo Alto Hub in California. Recently, I joined the Düsseldorf and as well the Women Leading Forward project. And I'm very looking forward for what our speakers have to share tonight.
Yeah, I will just go next. Thank you. Good morning, good evening, everyone. I'm dialing in from Düsseldorf. I'm the curator of Düsseldorf Hub here. And I'm very interested in the topic as well, women leadership. And right now, since I changed my job, as most of you know, I have now a female boss, a very, very inspiring one. And I would like to know how to deal with her.
Thank you, Chen. Aitor, I mean, I hope it's okay. I'm just calling your names, but if you don't feel comfortable saying something, feel free to just stay mute. Otherwise, Aitor, would you like to go next? I hope I'm pronouncing the name right. Or Jakob? Oh no, Jakob was dialing in from the mountains.
I think, yeah, connection in mountains might be a bit difficult. Maybe someone else still wants?
So I guess I can say 2 words. As you can see from our family name, there are 2 campos here. One is me and the other one is my daughter. So I am following you and your work. At our time, we didn't have the opportunity to design this kind of groups to give a new shape to the world. So I wanted to congratulate you. And well, I'm involved in teaching. I'm professor in the University of Deusto in Bilbao and in San Sebastian. I've been involved in public sector, and I will be following your interesting talk and discussion among all of you. So congratulations, and thank you for making a better world.
Thank you for joining us. Yeah, it's amazing. Olas Campos, as you mentioned, will be one of our speakers, and Mavis Mino also. So does anyone else would like to say hello? I mean, I think it's nice to feel more comfortable within a group. If not, I will continue. So for tonight, I will first, as promised, introduce you to the Global Shapers community and the Düsseldorf Hub, as well as our project group, Women Leading Forward. And then Jamil will be taking over the moderating part of introducing our speakers. We will listen to both speeches with a separate Q&A session afterwards, and then continue just an open further discussion and networking part. So for those of you who are not familiar with the Global Shapers community, it was founded in 2011 by Professor Klaus Schwab, who is the founder and executive chairman of the World Economic Forum. The goal is to empower young people to play an active role in local, regional, and in the global agenda. It's a non-profit organization. And the idea is that young people are so central to the solution building They're diverse in expertise, education, income, and race, and have a great desire to bring change. All over the world, we are about 10,610 shapers, distributed in 444 hubs in 147 countries. Now, the Düsseldorf Hub is one of these groups located in the North Rhine-Westphalia region of Germany. We are about 28 members and have 4 active projects. One of them being Women Leading Forward, and others focusing on mental health relief programs, supporting and working alongside COVID warriors in India. Another project focusing on bringing attention to the German federal election, and others as well working on sustainability on a local level in Düsseldorf. Now, concerning Women Leading Forward, the idea and the project was created in 2019, and we managed to have a first event at the University of Cologne in collaboration with the AStA Cologne and UN Women Germany. Since then, a few things have changed, and we are about 7 current members working actively on developing the project further and bringing an impact on gender equality. So some of our members you've already met. And the idea behind Women Leading Forward is that basically gender equality is a topic that is more present nowadays than it has been, but still it's not taken as seriously as it should be and as necessary as it is. And we want to empower young girls and women to become leaders for their own lives and inspire others to do the same, fighting gender-based stereotypes and other forms of bias. For example, the consequence of the pandemic is that it will take up until 138 years to achieve gender equality. Before the pandemic, if I remember correctly, it was about 100 years, so already too long. And now the question is, do we live in an equal enough society, and are we satisfied with the status quo? So with Women Leading Forward and now this event series, we want to create a network of women that support and mentor each other, encouraging more diversity and inclusion. And through empowering each other, we want to recognize the differences, but also realize that we all have this common goal. And so from learning from each other, we can contribute and be stronger in having an impact, a sustainable impact on gender equality. Another event we had this year was focusing on stereotypes. Now we still want to focus on how to battle and fight against stereotypes, but with a bigger focus on leadership. That's why we created Femspace Talks on Leadership. So for 4 events until December, so 1 event per month, we want to focus on different aspects and characteristics of leadership and highlight 2 speakers that we want to listen to their stories and to their experience. And by inspiring each other to be our true selves, we can bring change in people's way of thinking and their behavior. So thank you for listening. I hope it gives you a better understanding of what the Shapers community is and what specifically the idea of Women Leading Forward is. And yeah, I would like to hand over to Jamil now, who will be introducing our first speaker.
Thank you so much, Kamant. And may I mention that today our goal is that whatever your role or profession is, and that you will come away with something tonight, or on this event, and that you have a new idea, a fresh perspective, or maybe a new strategy to apply to be more successful in your personal and professional life. I came across a quote of Michelle Obama, and she spoke at the summit of the Mandela Washington Fellowship for Young Leaders. And here's what she said: no country can ever truly flourish if it stifles the potential of its women and deprives itself of the contributions of half of its citizens. And Command, you mentioned the global gender gap report of this year by the World Economic Forum. And it states that closing the global gender gap will take, at least 160 years or almost 35 years, I'm sorry. So, and our first speaker is Mavis Mayu, and more than ever, we need leadership, especially from women. And talking about Mavis, she's a development professional with many years of leadership experience. Currently, she is the executive assistant to the CEO of Climate Analytics, where she provides direct support to the CEO and the top level management. She, in 2021, or this year, she became one young world ambassador. And she was the curator leader, you could say, of the Global Shapers Düsseldorf Hub from 2019 to 2021. In 2018, she was awarded Queen Young Leader for community work through the Oak Foundation, where she is also a co-founder. Oak Foundation mentors women and girls in education, entrepreneurship, and professional development. And they do this by setting girls' clubs in senior high schools in underprivileged communities in Ghana. And their major objective is to help girls excel in their academic performance and groom them into future women leaders. Last but not least, she has been recognized for community service and leadership work by many reputable organizations, namely she's a DAAD scholar, a climate reality leader, and an associate fellow of the Royal Commonwealth Society. I think that's just the tip of the iceberg. And so hello and welcome, Mavis. Let's get started with you.
Great, thanks so much, Jamil, for your very kind and generous introduction. I'm really honored to be able to speak today. So thanks to the Women Leading Forward team for this great event, for putting it together and for giving us the space to talk about this very important topic of women leadership today. So I would like to start by sharing some realization that occurred to me recently. And it's not that I've not been thinking about this, all right, but it's just like it became a bit more intense because of all that's going on around the world today. It looks as if we are always waking up to bad news every day. It feels as if, and that's how it feels to me, like the world is coming to an end. There's bushfires, there's flood, climate crisis, there's wars, conflicts, Afghanistan, Taliban, everything. And for me, it's just like it's becoming very painful to wake up every day. And I was just asking myself, so how did we end up here? How did our world get to this stage where we are now? And it must have been because of some decisions that have been made in the past. So we are sort of leaving the consequences of certain decisions that have been made in the past. So the question then was, okay, so who made these decisions? And I guess the answer is not far from us. The answer is that men, and why men? Men because most of our political leaders are men, most of our business leaders are men, most of people in the really high, powerful positions who are making the very most important decisions are men. So that's the obvious answer. Our world is where it is today because men has dominated the space and they have taken certain decisions that are pushing us into where we are today. The other question that I asked myself was then, where are the women? Why are we allowing this to happen? Why are we not grabbing a seat at the decision-making table? Because the truth is that women create balance and we must make our voices heard. And so this is why I'm so happy to be able to participate in this discussion focusing about women leadership and to inspire us, especially women, that we need to take action because clearly the men have failed us, and we need to sit up and we need to grab a seat at the table. Now, moving to the topic of the day, passionate leadership. And I think the organizers know me very much, probably why they gave me this topic to talk about, because that is something that I can really associate with based on all of the work that I have done in the past and my background and the work that I continue to do. But I would like to start by defining what leadership means to me. And of course, there are several definitions of leadership, but the one that I really relate to is service. I really believe that a leader is to serve. Leadership is service. It's not to be served. It's you serving others. And this is the definition that really resonates with me and also my style of leadership. As a leader, you're basically there to make an impact, to change life and to make the life of others easier. It's not the other way around. It's not for other people to make your life easier, but rather you to make the life of those who look up to you and those who depend on you, make their lives easier and to create change. And this is what I identify myself with leadership. We attach passionate leadership, then we attach passionate to leadership, and then we are heading towards the definition and also how I find it or define passionate leadership is to lead with passion. So to serve with passion, to serve with your heart and your soul. And passion for me is that thing that gives you the energy, the drive, and gives you the motivation and the inspiration to do the things that we do and to lead change. And for everybody who has been a leader before, not of a big team, even of your family, you realize that leadership is something that is really difficult. Leading others and guiding them towards a certain goal, it's really difficult. And for me, I think that, and I believe that is the thing, and in my own experience, that thing that has really pushed me through or given me the energy, the drive and the inspiration to move through the difficult times has always been my passion and the motivation to achieve certain things or to change lives, so to say, or to make an impact. And this is what I see something that's important in any form of leadership. It's passion, because I think without passion, it becomes really, really difficult to continue with the journey. And I give an example of how Oak Foundation, I think Jamil already talked a bit about Oak Foundation and what we do and the work that we do. And talking about passion and linking that to Oak Foundation, the way Oak Foundation started was based on my own experience from the family and the background that I came from. So I came from a background not so well-to-do, but I was really fortunate to have a mother who was an educationist and who believed so much in the power of education. My mom would sacrifice money that she would use to buy clothing or even food to feed herself, to pay for our school fees, so mine and that of my siblings, because she believed that that was the way to change our lives or to give us a better future. So I was privileged to go through education and to pursue higher education. So after my university, I compared my life to my childhood friends who didn't have the opportunity for several reasons to pursue higher education. And I realized how different my life was from them and how fortunate I was. And it was only because I had the opportunity to go to school. So this is something that really gave me an aha moment, and I really wanted to go back to my community and to go back to the younger generation and to tell them what I have experienced and what I have seen to be the to motivate them and support them through mentoring, through scholarship, for them to pursue higher education. So basically, that's how our foundation started. We started just by going to schools and rural communities and talking to the girls. And it was always so fulfilling for me whenever I spoke to the girls, and then I saw how they were motivated and they really wanted to pursue higher education just because they have seen another person who looks like them, a young woman who has been able to go to school and has been able to do amazing things with their lives. And for me, this is what leading means, right? It is when I'm changing lives, so to say, when I'm impacting lives, when people are looking up to me because of some help, either just by motivating them or counseling them or supporting them with scholarship to access education or whichever little way it is, when they are motivated by these things and they want to change their lives or they want to do something more with their lives. And for me, this is what I also relate when it comes to leading with passion, because I think the only thing that still drives me till date, despite all the challenges and the difficulties of running a foundation, is just because of that passion and that energy that is deep within me, and that belief that I have in education to change lives because of my own personal experiences. And this is why I continue to do what I do, and I really also believe in women leading. Because also I believe when, like the saying, when you educate a woman, you educate a nation, and when you educate a man, you educate a single individual. And this is really true in so many ways. Now, why is it important to lead with passion, so to say? I think that passionate leaders or people who lead with passion, they do have a lot of energy. And this energy rubs off the people that they work with. So when we are energetic, when you're passionate, when you are happy and excited about what you do, I think the people that you work with or the people that you lead, they see this and they buy into the vision, and they are also motivated and inspired to follow the path to together achieve the dreams and the goals that you have set for yourself and for the team or the organization or what you lead. Also, I think passionate leaders are people persons, so they just love people, they focus on people, they appreciate differences, and they are very much open-minded. For passionate leaders, it's just about the people, not about the money. And that's also another thing, to really lead with compassion and so much generosity, and they give so much without expecting anything in return. And I think this is such an important quality, and this is something that I think it's also very easily with women leaders. You realize that women leaders are very, very much compassionate and much more people person than we normally see with male leaders, for example. And also passionate leaders are also, they show vulnerability, be the authentic self in that sense. Because we are human, and I think most of the times when it comes to leadership and vulnerability, it's made to look as if, like, as a leader, you need to be strong all the time. Vulnerability is seen as some form of weakness, but I think like a passionate leader is also someone who also shows this vulnerability, and to be able to show that being a leader doesn't mean that you cannot cry sometimes when there are bad days. It doesn't mean that you would not feel like working or talking, like all of these, like very difficult and down days. It's also important to show so that people appreciate the humanity in the leadership or in the work that we do. Now, talking about passionate leaders being so, being so generous and giving without return, I think that is also something that you can also say that could be a negative in a sense. And what do I mean by that? I think like passionate leaders usually lead with so much emotions that sometimes emotions are overridden by logic. It's overridden by emotion. So you lead more by emotions, and sometimes you're not so objective because what you just want to do is to just give without getting anything in return. And this is something that I have also learned the really hard way. When we started Oak Foundation, I started Oak Foundation with a couple of my friends. All I wanted to do was just to help people. So I wanted to just use my own resources and do everything on my own. I struggled so much to do them because I thought it was just begging people or asking people for money. Even if I was going to use money for a good purpose, for something good, I still really struggled to do fundraising. I just wanted to do it on my own, with my own money. But in the end, you realize that it's not possible to do that. You need people, you need collaboration, you need people who have the resources, who cannot do the on-the-ground work, but want to use their money to support such good causes. So you need all of these people together to be able to scale the impact, because when you have more partnership, more collaboration, and more resources, then you are able to reach more people and scale the impacts of the work that you do, and you're able to get to more people and help more people, so to say. But sometimes this is something that it's really hard if you're just like driven by the emotional part and you just want to keep without expecting anything in return. So I know I have 10 minutes, so I'm just going to wrap up quickly so that Jamil doesn't shut me down. But in the end, what I would like to say, so I think that every leader should be driven by passion. It's very important, and it is what keeps you, and it is what sustains you. But leadership is also not just only about passion, and there are other several characteristics, other aspects of leadership that is also important to consider. And I think Olat is going to talk about the other aspects, and in the coming months, Women Leading Forward event is also going to talk about different aspects of leadership. So all of these aspects I think are important to consider, but I think that plus all of these, what it's important and what leadership should definitely include is passion. And I think passion inspires, and I think each and every one of us here have the potential to be a good leader. So I leave by saying and encouraging the women here that we need to take action. Like I said in the beginning, the men have messed up our world. We need to sit up, we need to take the space, and we need to create a change, because in the future we would have ourselves to blame for wherever our world would be headed. So thank you very much, and looking forward to your question.
Thank you, Mavis. It was really amazing. Don't worry, I'm not going to shut you off. Actually, I want to listen more to what you have to say. And yes, I guess we just go right into the questions, to the Q&A. And I think 2 questions in the chat. So I see one from Elysian and Jakob. So thank you. Jakob is saying, thank you, Mavis, for sharing your story with us. Very inspiring. Is there a passionate leader that inspired you in the past or keeps inspiring you to this day?
That is a very, very good question. I would say that when I started foundation, I want to go from there, because I feel like that's where my leadership journey really started, although I had occupied positions there. But from that point, I think it wasn't really because I was looking up to a passionate leader. It was basically because of my own personal experience, my background, and where I came from. It is what actually moved me to want to do the work that started back in 2014 or 2015. But moving on along the way and along the journey, I would say that one person or one leader that really inspires me, it's Michelle Obama, I would say, because I feel her drive, I feel her energy and her passion. And when she talks about the things that she does, and also very, as a young woman, Black woman, it was always so inspiring for me to look up to another Black woman who was just like so inspiring and so passionate in the political scene. So to say. So Michelle Obama, it's one of the leaders that I till date, and she's also working on a lot of women and girls initiatives. So I would say that she's one of the leaders or passionate leaders that I really look up today. But from the beginning, it was basically born out of my own experiences, so to say.
All right, thank you for answering the question. This rounds up, this famous quote she said, and there are many. I recommend her book. It's really good. It's called Becoming. And to the next question, Elisiane is saying, Mavis, yes. How do you manage a situation when people put your leadership on check? Basically, when they are questioning why you are the leader.
Yeah. This is also another very interesting question, and I don't know if I have if there's a perfect answer or if I have a perfect answer, but I think that when first it would begin with your own self-belief, right? Like believing in yourself and believing that you are where you are because you deserve to be there. And I think that is what would be really important in situations when people begin to question your leadership and begin to question your authority and why you are where you are. I think that, and one thing that also helps me all the time, I know that not everybody will like you, not everybody will believe you, but there are also other people who will believe in you and there are other people who will like you. So at the end of the day, that's which one do you decide to believe in, right? Is it the naysayers? Is it those who are questioning your leadership or your work, or is it the other people who also so believe in you? So I think in such a situation, I would manage it first by my own self-belief and believing that wherever I am or the leadership position that I occupy, I deserve it. I deserve to be there, or I'm the best to lead at that particular stage, and also to accompany or align myself with the people who also believe in me in that sense, and believe that that space, it's something that I deserve to also say. Of course, I'm not saying that you don't listen to the criticisms or you don't listen, because sometimes it's also always important as a leader to receive feedback, because we are not perfect. We all are human and we all have our failings, but I think that you should only listen to constructive criticisms and not people who are just bent to pull you down or bent to make sure that you feel in what's the task that you're focusing on. So this is how I think that I would approach that kind of situation. And I hope I answered your question right.
Thank you for your answer. And I would like just to add, because Jacob said something earlier about a female leadership discussion, also in the lights and times of departing female Chancellor Angela Merkel in Germany, who led the political party for 18 years and the country for 16 years. And to connect the dots with what you said, when she entered the room back then, and she survived 4 US presidents, 7, I guess, Italian prime ministers, and so on, she was called the girl. Now we are really clever afterwards, and we know that she was really inspiring and she just focused on her work. So it's a good example of what you said. It's possible. And now to the third question from Chan. Hi, Mavis. Thank you for sharing your story. What will you tell the younger Mavis?
Okay. First, I want to comment on the Angela Merkel story. And the story that I shared at the beginning is actually, that realization came from the story of Angela Merkel, because I have read it on LinkedIn and learned that she didn't, for like all the 16 years that she was the chancellor, she didn't even buy any home. she didn't even acquire any property for herself. And I was just like thinking, this is something that is so unthinkable, that a man will be in power for so many years and they would not acquire any property for themselves. So for me, that was like quickly a very distinguishing factor, between like women leadership and, leadership. So yeah, I think Angela Merkel, and I really do admire her so much, and I'm so proud of her. And as a woman, I really look up to her, and I wish we could have more female leaders like her in the future. Now, what I would tell to the younger Mavis, I think I would just tell her not to worry and not to think so much, and that everything would be okay, so to say, or just like continue to believe in herself and just be focused on the goals that she has set for herself. Because I think even till date, I still so future oriented. I'm always thinking about the future, right? And saying, okay, what if this doesn't work out? I want to do this. What if this doesn't work? What do I do? And all of that without enjoying the moment now or the present. So I think younger Mavis, I'll just tell her, because now I know that things work out once you set your heart to, and everything is possible once you set your mind to, and that I can do everything, and then there's nothing that is impossible. So this is what I would tell the younger Mavis, and even the future Mavis, so to say.
Thank you for these inspiring words. And I would say if there are no more questions, we go to Olat's campus, and maybe later you can join our after event get together where you could just ask questions if they pop up in the next minutes. So thank you, Mavis, so much. And we go to our next speaker, and our next speaker is Olat's campus. She's the talent manager of Ironchip, an innovative tech company to create security products and solutions with big data and artificial intelligence. So a woman in tech, I would say. And currently she's an impact officer and shaper in the Bilbao hub. As the project leader, she's part of the local project Femspace, a female empowerment project. So she's doing interviews, and they have an Instagram account. You can follow them and see their actions. But from what I have understood is that you tried to shed light on women, leading women, maybe local heroes, you could say. And you studied psychology, especially you're really specialized in behavior and organization, I would say leadership. And maybe you can talk more about it. And also you've been really engaged in COVID supporting many organizations and helping them in times of the COVID crisis. So this is Olat, and the stage is yours.
Hello, everyone. First of all, thank you all for inviting me. I'm really honored to be in this space. And also, after Mavis' words, this is really a bit like, I don't know, it was really inspiring, and I'm even more honored to be here. I prepared a really small presentation, so let's see if I can have it. I think I can't because of the now.
I try it now.
Yeah. It says it's not possible, but don't worry, I can manage without it. Don't worry. So first of all, when I was like Women Leading Forward told me to participate in this event, I was like, what am I doing? Why I'm going to talk about leadership? What can I share about leadership? Now here we have. So I was like, my imposter syndrome was there. Do I really have something to say about leadership? Do I have something to say in general? And that led me to a personal story that is something that many women would have felt while they were younger. That is when we are children, when we are really girls that are just starting to face the world, we are told that we are bossy. We are told that we can't be leading things, we can't be leading actions, we can't just lead anything that we want to lead. And that wasn't a dramatic experience actually, but it really showed me that they want us silenced. They want us not to lead activities. They are not used to women leading any space. So I started feeling bossy, and anyhow I had to face that problem and say, okay, so let's be bossy, let's be bosses in this case. I mean, why can't I be a boss? So that is how I started to think that I could lead any situation if I wanted to. So in this case, I was told to talk about objective leadership. And I think that because of the name, we all know what it is. It's just having an objective and leading by that objective, no? So it's so simple like that. But as maybe talked about passionate leadership, my question about this was, do I have only to have objective leadership? Do I only have to have only one approach, or can I have different approaches, or can I have like compatible approaches? And in this case, I will be talking about objective leadership, of course, but my question just gave me an answer, and it is that it depends on the situation. You have to see the context and see what times you have to be a passionate leadership, and when do you have to be an objective, use an objective leadership. Because if you just use one leadership in every situation, you are making a mistake. You are just not seeing the context, not adapting to it. So I think that, and maybe it's really talked about passionate leadership, and I loved the idea that we need passion in our lives. Of course, we need, I would say, motivation, as I'm a psychologist, and there are a lot of different approaches about what motivation is and how we can approach motivation. But actually, we do need passionate leadership as we do need objective leadership. So who can be a leader? And as I said, when I was a girl, people told me that I was bossy, that I couldn't lead any situation. So I'm going to say that anyone can be a leader, anyone. It doesn't have to be something that is like, of course, we can be head of state of any country. I always have a small joke that I will be the first women head of state of the Basque country. That's just because I want to break that glass ceiling. I want to say, okay, there is a first woman as head of state in the Basque country. And if anyone comes before me, I will be so happy that that happens. So anyone can be a leader, either a head of state or just any small action that you are doing in your day-to-day life, no? And here, now that I have to talk about objective leadership here, the thing is that you have to have a clear idea of what you want, what you are going to do, what's your goal in your life, or your dream, or you can call it whatever you want, but you really have to have a clear idea of where are you leading. If you like literature, and if you like Alice in Wonderland, sorry, there is a part of the literature that says that, where are you leading? And she says, I don't know. And she's like, okay, so it doesn't matter where you go, it doesn't matter the direction. So because you don't know where you want to go, so it doesn't matter if you go one way or the other. So in this case, you really have to have a really clear objective of where you want to lead, where you want to go. For example, in my case, of course, I want to change the world, which is like a really big objective. And it's sometimes like really not approachable, because, or really it can be approachable because you can change the world by doing a really small action. But it's also to inspire women. It's also to make women feel that they are financially independent, that we can lead our lives, and that we can make a better world, but with the gender equality, having it in the basis, no? So once you have your objective, of course, you have to plan your goals, because you have to just do small tasks, small goals. And that's like a simple, I don't know, different, like in a class, everyone would say, just organize and have like different goals and plan them. But for me, as a psychologist, something that is really important is to listen. Because you can be a leader anywhere, but if you don't listen to the people around, and main of all your teammates, but if you don't listen to the people around, you are not going to be able to see what's going on. You are not going to be, you have a clear objective, which is perfect and it's amazing, but you have also to listen what's going on around. And that way, like, open a communication so that you can have a feedback, so you can have different insights. And that way you can also see if you are wrong at something. For example, in Femspace, we are all the time like having a lot of crazy ideas. We want to do a lot of things. And sometimes it is like, okay, yes, it's amazing to have all these ideas, but now we have to stick to this, because if not, we are not going to achieve anything, or we have to change directions because something is not working. So the thing is that if you shut everyone out of your world, you are going to be obsessed with an objective, which is not the key to lead. If you want everyone to follow you, you also have to lead them by listening to them. Also, this helps you assessing environments, seeing what's going on, what things, the opportunities, the threats, everything that is going on. And that can only happen by looking what's going on or listening in this case. And here I had this quote by Maya Angelou, because I think that there is something really important. We have to make mistakes while we lead. I mean, I've made a lot of mistakes while I've been leading. And for example, one of them was not listening to someone when they were telling me like, no, this is wrong, this is not going on really well, blah, blah, blah. So it was like, okay, I have to listen to it if I want to achieve our goal. So in this case, I made a mistake. I got over it, and I really kept leading by learning from that mistake. So be ready to make a lot of mistakes so that you can lead with what you learn. And then also be ready to be defeated sometimes. I mean, sometimes you will have to a defeat that it's going to be devastating, of course, but you will learn from that and you will be able to just get over it. And also, I think that this is one of the most important things that I wanted to say. Give voice to those who most need it. Because, for example, I'm a white woman, I know it. And I'm sometimes like used to being someone who has to give voice to women. You are not changing the world. You are not thinking of the rest of the world. You are just thinking on yourself. But if you are thinking of those who need it the most, you are really changing things that are going around. Also, and most women will be agreeing with me, we have to be ready to break glass ceilings. I mean, like I said before, there hasn't been a head state in the Basque Country. There hasn't been a head state in Spain, for example. So also in most companies, we have men. And if we really want to change in gender equality in this case, we need to break those glass ceilings so that we can give different approaches to the conflicts we may face. Because I don't know if you know, but for example, when women went to space for the first time, they were asked if they needed, I don't know, it was like, will you be okay with 10 pads for menstruating, for example? And they were like, what? They didn't even know what women needed in those cases. we are used to leading ourselves, but also leading like houses. We are also used to leading big communities. So we have a perspective of different kind, but if we don't show them, or for example, with pregnancy or with equality in companies, if we don't see that, for example, now in COVID, there has been a lot of problems with working environments because of women having to lead at home and also their own works. So if we don't have all those perspectives, if we don't have women in head of state, as CEOs and everything, we won't be able to change that. And also, and here I will be giving some spam. Here I wanted to say that we have to get inspired by others. We need role models, in this case, women role models, but we need role models in general, because if we want to achieve something, we have to see that we can do that. Like I said, we all can lead, we all can be leaders. And if we haven't seen another woman leading, or another Black woman leading, as maybe said with Michelle Obama, things like that, we think that we can't do it. So just, I think that we have to surround ourselves with inspiring people. I'm happy to say that here in Global Shapers Bilbao, we are inspired and we are building that community, but not everyone has that opportunity. So we have also to help people be inspired. That's why we made Femspace, to inspire women around our community by different women. And it doesn't have to be like, I don't know, for example, we do have a Shaper fellow that she has an asterisk with her name, and she has made this machine that was awarded with the MIT and the NASA and everything. And that's amazing. And that is really inspiring. But also we are showing people what it is to be in the start of the process of building something. Because if you only see the end, you see, oh, that's amazing. But if you don't see the start, if you don't see how people started, you are not going to be able to see that it is a process, and that sometimes you will have those defeats that I said before. So always get inspired. Here, as a psychologist also, it is a hard work to change the world. It is really hard to be inspiring, or to get inspired, or to lead any action as an impact officer. For example, sometimes it is exhausting to manage 20 people, or even at work in Ironchip also I have to manage 20 people, and sometimes it is really exhausting. And as a psychologist, I have to say, sometimes we are so focused on doing everything perfect and giving our 100% that we don't rest. And rest is not an award, it's something that we deserve, so that we can recharge our batteries and keep going and lead better. And to end everything, because I don't know what time is it, and I probably have talked more than I should have, but Greta Thunberg, something I feel inspired by, said, you are never too small to make a difference. We can all make a difference. We can all lead any situation. It only has to be by listening, by learning, by reading, and we can all do that difference. It doesn't matter as much if it's by objective leadership, by passionate leadership, but we can all lead any situation if we believe in it, and if we really set our goals, if we really want to change the world. That's everything I wanted to say. So let's see if I can.
Thank you, Olad. Wow, what a powerful speech and message you have. This reminds me of the butterfly effect. That just the wing of a butterfly can start a storm.
Completely.
I have not seen any. No, there's actually a question. Perfect. I just wondered. So thank you first of all again, and we just go into the Q&A. First again, Jakob, Olas. Thank you for sharing your insights. Are there some resources, books, podcasts about gender equality that inspire you and which you would recommend to every change maker to dive deeper?
this is a bit of a tricky question because I do have a lot of resources. I do have a lot of things, but right now they don't come up to my mind. But I think that right now we have the best resource, that it's the internet. Always we have to be critical about what we read or what we find. But I think that we have a great resource, that it is to look for different books or podcasts, as you say. But I think that always, for example, there is this film that is about the I love the space. I love everything that it goes in the space. So this film that is about the NASA, that they made the first calculations for, I'm going to look for it, for meant to go to the space in this case. And I loved that film, for example, and it helps a lot. I'm trying to look for it. It's in Spanish is Figuras Ocultas, which I don't know right now in English. Give me hidden figures. That's one of them. And that gave me a lot of perspective. In this case, it's also three, thank you, Jacob, three Black women. And I thought that was really powerful, a really powerful movie. But I think that right now, with all the changes that we are having with feminism and everything, there are a lot of resources. And if you want, Jacob, I can send you any resources by LinkedIn later on, or we can share them in the group that Women Leading Forward just shared. And that way we can all share all the resources we have.
Thank you. I hope this answers the question, and that's a good point. Networking, you can share your LinkedIn accounts in the chat session, so we get connected. And yes, as I said, this is not the last time maybe we see each other. There are events coming up. So the next question we have is from Anna. Thank you, Olats. I would like to address you a similar question as the one we already had. What you do when someone doubts your leadership or your approaches?
It depends on the time. If it finds me well, like I just say, okay, never mind. I will listen to it. I will see if there is any constructive feedback in there, if I can get something from that information. But if not, I will keep leading. I think that once I've faced my imposter syndrome to think that I can lead, I can face any other critic that they say, oh, she can't do that. Okay, let's show you that I can do that. I can lead, I can change whatever is going on. And if I'm wrong, if I make a mistake, I'm listening to the people around, and I will see if all those critics, or if that feedback has any basis. And if it has a basis, I will have to face my mistake, of course, and say it out loud and just change whatever I have to change. But anyhow, if anyone doubts it, just show them you can do it.
All right to the next question from Chen. It's basically the same. He asked Mavis. Again, thank you, Olats. I'm sure you will be successful in the future undertaking.
Thank you.
I have the same question to you. What would you tell the younger Olats, especially since you mentioned making mistakes?
That with time, you will always have a perspective of things that are going on, that something that was so important so many years ago, it's not that important right now. And also, keep going. Sometimes it's difficult. I think I would say that things are difficult, and sometimes we want to live in a marvelous world where everything is happy and everything, happiness is really important. It is important, but if we are all the time focusing in happiness, maybe we are all the time trying to find perfection, and perfection is not attainable. It's only a perspective to be able to do better. So just to know that things are going to be hard, that we will have to face difficult times, but that I will be able to face those problems, those things.
So you'd say trust in the process?
That's it. Yeah, that's the best way to summarize it. Yeah, thank you.
And ignore the toxic positivity part of, yeah.
I think positivity is important. It's good, but sometimes, yeah, as you said, that right now we have toxic positivity, like everything is going to be wonderful and everything. And you can't say that to someone that has suffered from, I don't know, a tsunami, or right now that everything is going on, as maybe said before, everything that is going on out there. You can't tell someone that everything is going to be all right if they lost someone or something.
Right, well said. And there's another question from Luilia Ayer. Thank Olas for this insightful presentation. What's your advice for a beginner shaper who wants to make a big change or big changes in her community in the field of social work inclusion and gender equity? How to get ideas for projects to implement and so on?
I think I have two advices. One of them is to just start moving, start doing things. Sometimes moving, even if I said before, even if you make mistakes, you are doing and you are taking action. And by taking action, you will see if you have to change your direction or if you are doing things right. And that's one of them. Like, for example, I don't know, a week ago, we had also an action in communication and we made a mistake, and it's normal. That's the way you learn in life. And it's not the only way, of course, but that's a way to learn in life, that you make a mistake, you learn from them and you keep going. And that's good. And also in this case, as you said, for social work inclusion and gender equality, I would say networking, listening, as I said before, listening to others. Actually, we started doing this by another action that Global Shapers Düsseldorf did like 6 months ago about stereotypes. And then we gathered different projects in gender equality. And that way, that's when we connected and we saw different projects in the community. And that helped a lot to see the different conflicts or the different problems that were happening, for example, in Mexico, in Düsseldorf, here in Bilbao, and what is needed in each case. And sometimes you don't need new ideas. You can get the same idea that they did in Düsseldorf, that we did in Bilbao, or that they did in Mexico, and we can do the same in our places, because sometimes we have the same problems. So we can use a solution that has already been made. And we have a mentor in this case. For example, if someone wants to replicate Femspace, we are happy to be mentors so that people can do the same in their towns or in their cities. So it's amazing that we can change the world by connecting, by networking.
Again, well said. I mean, that's our mantra, to solve global issues on a local level. And greatness is a lot of small things done well. And may I say something about decision making? And to the question, maybe you already mentioned it, but in my words, make the decision, because to make good decisions, you need experience. And to gain experience, you need to learn from your failures. I mean, in both ways, also from your wins. But making those decisions, that's the first step you have to do. And seeking discomfort. So get out of your comfort zone and try something that, do something every day that you fear. And this way you grow. And yeah, so we are now heading to the next question by George Oberdorfer. Thank you for your inspirational speech, Olas. As you nicely said, and I totally agree, leaders have to inspire, to evoke motivation. So how do you exert inspiration? How do you evoke motivation, the fire, in your followers practically?
I think that if you believe in what you're doing, people see that. And also, if you show them that they can do things regarding the problem you are facing, if you make them participate, they are going to see that they can do it. And it's not just inspiring people by saying, I'm the best, I can do this. And saying all the marvelous things I am, because the thing is that you can do all those things too. So if we believe in ourselves, but also make people believe in themselves, that they can attain anything, not anything they want, because I'm not going to use the toxic positivity, but if we really learn that we can inspire by doing, we can inspire by making them join the action or anything that they can help with, I think that helps a lot. It's practical because you are making them participate, you are making them see how things really are, not just like there is this phrase I love that you sometimes see the concert of a big artist, but you also have to see the backstage, because in the backstage there are defeats, there are hard times, but also you see that people believe in what they do, that people want to change the world, that there is some good in the world. So actually, I think that motivation, you can inspire people, that motivation by having that motivation. And for example, lately I've like 2 weeks ago, I lost some of my motivation. That's why I said about the rest, like resting was important, because sometimes we need to rest. We also have to charge our phones to really make them work. So actually, we need to charge our batteries. We need to rest, but also we can inspire by I don't know, exchanging books. For example, one of the actions we did in the hub was to take one book we liked and share them with the other, and you would get the book that the other person gave to you. And that way you are inspiring, because you are showing them your values, what you think, what you really believe in. So I think that's important, like to really believe in what you're doing and to make it attainable to people around you. I don't know if that answered the question. So
yeah, basically what you say is to take a step back to see the bigger picture, and sometimes you need to take a step back to move forward.
That's it. Yeah.
As I said, if there are any questions left, you can you can ask them basically in the comment discussion, and I think the Q&A is over. So we've heard and listen to both speakers. I just want to sum up really quickly that what we've seen today and what we've heard today. So Mavis addressed passionate leadership, and she said that the leader is a change maker. She asked herself 2 questions, namely one, the question of how or living with the consequences of the past, and who made these decisions, mostly men, and where are the women? So, and the answer to that is actually to serve. Leadership means serve, not receive this sort of serve or being served. And basically it is committing to achieving one's goals while helping others achieve their goals. This is a really good, inspiring idea. And then we had Olas with objective leadership, and she talked about the personal story, and that for her it means leading in every situation, and it really depends on the situation. So you have to adapt. It's not that you have to just follow one sort of leadership idea, but you can mix it, and we all can lead. And most importantly, to overcome individual bias through collective intelligence. So this idea of others working together and having these kind of taking note of your emotions and your intuitions that help you to validate and see the usefulness of your own assumptions. And sometimes it's deciding, making a decision, learning from your failures and understanding, oh, I was wrong. And this eventually makes you a better person and a better leader, and choose objective response. And most importantly, yeah, explain your decisions in an objective manner. So I think we are, yeah, we come to the common discussion, I guess. I now think I hand over to Kamant.
Yes, thank you, Jamil, and most importantly, thank you, Mavis and Olas, for your amazing stories and wonderful speeches. And yeah, I think maybe what I would like to add is that what you mentioned, Olas, the imposter syndrome, you know, because men are raised to be confident, to believe in themselves, and to know that they are able to achieve no matter what they set as a goal. And women are taught, you know, in general, are taught to prove themselves first, to be recognized later. And that's why we have this, why most women have this imposter syndrome, where they always start by doubting themselves, doubting their place in society, their place in a no matter where, you know, professional life or private life, and where they first have to unlearn this mechanism and realize that they are smart enough, they are able enough to decide for themselves and to know for themselves what is right. And by consequence, even men suffer when we set these fixed social standards. If we say that, for example, as Mavis, as you mentioned, being passionate, having emotions used to be something bad, something negative, because you always have to think straight, maybe, and represent this male dominance that is always showing strength and a lack of emotion. But actually having emotion makes us human and allows us to better calculate a situation, better understand each other and communicate. And by breaking these ways of thinking and these standards, men are more free to show emotions as well, and to be healthy leaders. And yes, so thank you for your amazing inputs. And I would like us to open the discussion to talk more and give everyone the chance of sharing their insight or their feedback. Maybe you have a personal story as well, something you would like to share with us.
Maybe you can share, come on, your personal story in your journey. Like, that would be interesting.
Yeah, well, my personal story, I mean, I grew up in Germany, but I have an Iranian background. And of course, I mean, in Iran, we have a lot of women that study mathematics and are, you know, actual brains. But still, it's a culture where you learn to look towards men as the smarter one, as usually the one who's able to make the decisions. And for example, I was someone I maybe like Mavis also mentioned, you know, I worried a lot about the future, and I was always anxious about what is the right way to go, what is the objectively right decision to take for my life, for my future, because I felt like I am growing up in Germany. I have a responsibility because not everyone has the opportunities that I have. So I have to be smart. I cannot waste my opportunities. And so I never really, I had to learn how to be a leader for myself, so to say, to make my own decisions for the right reasons, not because it's objectively right, because other people would applaud and say you're doing it right, but because it felt right to myself, because it made me happy, actually. And yeah, making mistakes, as we learned tonight and talked about it, it's important, because when you're afraid of taking a step, you will never really move forward. You will never learn something about yourself and about life. You will not grow, you will not gain any experience or strength. And yeah, so I don't know, from my personal experience, I would say don't be anxious or afraid of taking decisions and of making bad decisions maybe. And yeah, just learn and grow in the process.
I'm just gonna say I loved it.
It's a complicated story, actually. Lucky.
Yeah, but it is inspiring. So, and I can say that you are a leader because I've seen it in the community and with these spaces. So, like, you are achieving your goals, and that's inspiring.
Thank you, Olaf. Yeah, actually, for me, it's also getting out of my comfort zone, and yeah.
And I mean, I've also known Kaman for a while, right? For quite a number of years from the beginning of the Shaper. And yeah, I must also say, like, I'm really inspired by your journey, even how you started this project. And like you said, the main, just do it, the main learnings and how the project is like working today and all of that. So yeah, you are really done. You inspire all of us.
Thank you. But I have to say that this project wouldn't be working at all if I would be doing it on my own, because I have my own story maybe and my experience, but everyone who contributes to this has something else they can share and their perspective, and that's also the idea of this project, to learn from each other and to grow and have an impact as a community, as a group, because no one can do anything on their own. And yeah, we just complement each other, so to say. Yeah, so I also added a few links to the chat. If you like to share your feedback, we'd be happy to hear how you like the event. And if you, there's also the option of leaving your email address, because this form is anonymous. But if you like to stay updated and receive a newsletter regarding upcoming events, feel free to leave your email address in this Google form. And yes, our next event will be in October, and the topic will be competitive and collaborative leadership. So we will continue sharing information regarding that and giving updates on all platforms. Feel free to join the LinkedIn group as well, where we can create a small, first small community, and maybe exchange further and continue the discussion. Yeah, I'm happy to see so many having joined us tonight and taking your time out of the Thursday evening. And yeah, we hope that many of you have learned something new maybe, or feel inspired and motivated to conquer Friday and every other day of the week.
Thanks for organizing this, really. You already know that I love your project, but this is amazing, really. And everyone else should know about this.
Yeah, thank you. Well, hopefully our Women Leading Forward family will grow.
It will, I'm sure.
Now we just made it in time. It's 1 minute to 9 p.m. And I guess we may start our, you could say, networking space. So anyone who's, open to, get to know each other, maybe grab a drink or something, or we can take a break or so. And anyone who wants to leave, you're welcome to join our next event and to follow us, as Kaman said. And yes, so many things have been said. I am really thankful that you've joined us tonight or this day from New Zealand to, I think, Austria and all these other amazing places. And yeah.
And Bilbao.
And Bilbao.
Yeah.
Also,
I have to leave as well. Sorry. And great seeing you all, and have a good evening or good morning. Bye.
Bye, Chen.
Okay, I think I'll say goodbye. So thank you all for coming, and see you around. I lost my LinkedIn page, so in case you want to connect, also you're welcome. Bye.
Thank you, Mavis. Bye.
Thank you, Mavis.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, guys. We are going to have dinner here. Keep on pushing. Huh? Thank you a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Also, I will say bye-bye. I just share my LinkedIn, but if anyone wants to have a coffee, anything by Zoom or by Skype, or if you want to come to Bilbao, just write to me and we'll make it happen. Thanks for this space and for everything. See you soon.
Thank you, Ola.
Thank you.
Bye.
Yeah, well, thanks for organizing, generating this platform. It was a really interesting talk. I did not even imagine to take as much from this talk as I did in the end. It was quite opening, yeah, just to get a new insight from a different angle, which perhaps I myself would have never stumbled across. Even in university, when you are in your marketing books or whatever, you tend to overlook these kind of angles. So it turned out to be very useful.
It's great to see that and to hear that. What is it you take with you from this event? Like the
compassionate leadership style is something that I never even considered, actually, from my background, so to say, which is more perhaps a bit business related, something like this. Compassionate leadership, where you actually go to an eye level with the person that needs to have their voices spread the most. That is something that is very valuable, because it also asserts you as a caring leader. I would say a caring leader, not just someone that is out for profit, someone that is out to maximize a gain, but someone that is actively taking part in a community that is following. And that, I think, is a very big takeaway from me today. Perhaps the biggest takeaway, actually.
That's a really good point. I think in most cases, you have to distinguish between the human and the, let's say, the issue. Mostly there are problems, obviously. And what I really like is this sort of understanding what the interests are instead of what are the numbers. And understanding the interest, we can fulfill our desires or our goals or our visions or whatever we want to achieve actually better than just focus on, let's say, just the maths or just the numbers. And there's even a philosophy called effective altruism, where people try to live you know, in the light or with regards to empathy instead of just numbers. So they value or calculate this kind of utilitarianism, utilitarianistic idea of helping as many people as possible with their own work.
I like this approach way more once you think about it critically, because whom do numbers serve? Numbers are just numbers. Generating more money in the end doesn't serve. But if we as a community work together with the people following you as the leader, that is a different approach altogether than just exploiting the followers, so to say, in order to gain the wanted outcome. It's quite a different approach.
You said it quite right. Yeah, it's basically the message here, from my perspective, just the numbers is really, it's difficult because we live in a time in the 21st century where numbers are not the language we speak. The language we speak is emotions. People fear because we fear or misunderstand, or there's less or lack of communication. What we see is a rise of populism, or right-wing populism especially. And social media gave us this kind of new world, you could say. Whenever someone you meet, you live in your world, in your bubble, and you meet someone, their world is becoming yours as well. So your world becomes even bigger. Today, we've met maybe up to 20 people, and everyone has his or her own world. And suddenly, it's a big bubble we are in. So suddenly, we've learned so much from each other. And this kind of way of communicating, many misunderstand. Many just, it's this kind of egomanic idea or zeitgeist. iPhone, I don't know, or I own a car or 2 cars. I have my own account. I have everything for myself. And this individualism is great. That's one part of liberalism, one part of democracy, one part of emancipation. But many have this privilege, even now voting by the end of this month. It's a privilege to wake up and have all these opportunities. But with the privilege comes an exponential responsibility. And many don't care about the responsibility. And yeah, sharing is caring, or what Obama said, e pluribus unum, out of many, one out of many. It's this fundamental belief, I'm a brother's keeper. So without doctors, the medical system would it would fail. We'd have big issues now. We've seen it with COVID. What we have to understand is that we thought we could control nature, we can control everything, but the truth is that we can't. We are weak. Even something that we can't even see, a virus, is dominating humanity. So I think we have to change our perspective and have this kind of idea that we are actually living in it's this overview effect, the overview effect many astronauts have. They understand that this Earth, it's not just an Earth, it's just like a being, something that exists, something that moves, something that is constantly becoming, but not being. It's more becoming, actually. And in the end, it's billionaires such as Elon Musk or Virgin, or what's this other guy with the bald head? No,
Jeff Bezos.
Jeff Bezos, of course, paying billions and shooting so many emissions out, more than I could do in my lifetime, just to see this effect, just to understand, okay, that's how it works. And I guess that they understood that money is not everything.
That was a very nice closing statement, I think. That money cannot, when concerning leadership in economics or whatever, money and material gain cannot be the ultimum, because there cannot always be more and always be more, because we cannot have in the year 3000 or 4000, 100 billion men and everyone has 2 cars. It's not going to work. It's not going to work out for in the long run. We are experiencing the effects right now tremendously.
But that's the truth. I mean, we and Mavis said it earlier. We live in the consequences of our past. I mean, 100 years ago, yes, we had an industrial revolution, and we manufactured cars. But I know what they thought back then. They said, well, okay, we are using cars. It's progress, and the consequences, well, our generation, or let's say in their own words, the next generation or the following generations will have to cope with it. And this is irresponsible. And that's what I mean. And when Greta Thunberg said, I fear for the future, she's right. We don't know what will happen. And what I understood, and that's my message, is personally, when I was a child, I looked up to my parents and thought they're heroes. I thought that adults are heroes. now being a young professional, and I still see myself young as a young person, but almost being an adult or seeing this adult world, you know, kind of like transforming from one to the other. I understood that they're just people. They make mistakes. They sometimes are clueless, and you don't have to trust them blindly. So when someone leads, it needs to be someone who understands what leadership means, and it's serving others, not serving themselves. And the next thing I understood is, as a man, well, okay, same here. I thought maybe as a man I'm right, but it's wrong. Basically, women know sometimes things better than men do. And this kind of, as I said, collective intelligence, that's what we need. It's you whenever you meet someone, they know something you didn't know before meeting that person. So life is a process, and it's not about just reaching your goal. It's the whole process is reaching your goal. So be happy. I mean, the question 5 years ago, what would you told you? What would have you told yourself is, you will not be happy to achieve the goal. Believe in it already. Like I'm going to become a lawyer or doctor when I just started this path, or just a belief, and be happy about it. Not demotivated or being afraid of what you can move mountains, but when you think too much, you create mountains in your own head. You can't you can't conquer. And it's a typical, it's a usual quote when you don't climb the mountain, you climb yourself.
Yeah,
that's a good image, actually.
And
that you create mountains.
Absolutely. And that was a very inspirational speech in itself, in its own right. But on this note, I think I'm going to go for today. Soon bedtime is calling. Unfortunately, I have to get up in the morning as well, very early. So
thank you for having joined us.
Organizing this room. It was very interesting. I am going to take quite a few messages out of this for myself, and hopefully I can share it with others. So
yes,
have a good evening, and I might see you again.
Thank you.
Bye. Until next time.
See you.
Until next time. Bye.